Aloha everyone and welcome to Organic Talanoa. My name is Aogamalie Sione Sione and I'd like to welcome you to the podcast of Organic Talanoa. In this episode, I'm joined by Reverend Neli Alo, who is a New Zealand-born EFKS Minister who chose a different pathway which wasn't off the norm, choosing to move to Samoa and studying at the Malua Theological College. He gives us insights on his experiences and how challenging it was for him at that time of his life. His work with Youthline helps us understand different ways of allowing our youth to be able to express their feelings and tell their stories through creative art and many more. I hope you find something interesting and meaningful in this Organic Talanoa to support you in your journey in life.
This one's for you and you and you. And you and you and you. This one's for you and you and you.
Da 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 da.
Cool, thanks Rev, sort of having the opportunity to just sit down and have a talanoa. So a big part of it is called Organic Talanoa. So obviously under my amo whātasi, so working together. So a lot of it now is just basically our little small chat, general chat, bro, like it is organic. You know, you can go in depth or you can just touch the surface. Entirely up to you, but I guess for yourself, Rev, I know you wear a lot of hats, so probably just an understanding, like just what you do, and I guess little groups or your organisation that you're involved with as well. So yeah, take it away, brother.
Yeah, cool. I was just explaining it to the boys, the guy involved before. My Monday to Friday hat is I'm a team leader at Youthline in Manukau, so I pretty much run the centre out there.
Nice.
And then my Monday to Sunday hat is, I look after EFKS Albany. Samoan Church. I only say it's Monday to Sunday because, just a lot to do, you know. Can get the phone call any hour of the day and
True.
Have to jump in there and do some pastoral care,
yep.
But it's cool. It's cool.
Nice. I guess when we now look at in terms of the pastoral role, probably come back later, or we'll probably fit into some of your role with Youthline. Yeah. But with the pastoral role, I guess it's I'm not sure a lot of people would understand that you're actually a New Zealand born. Yeah. You've gone through the process of being at Malua Theological College in Samoa. So just for yourself, like your journey, like and how you got to that point of getting in.
Yeah. I guess I always say it was an accident because I was at uni at the time. You know, doing the normal uni stuff, hang out with the boys. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, shadows, you know, just the normal student stuff.
It's back in the days,
back in the days, yeah. And then I guess it took one of my best mates sat the exam for Malua the year before. And then, he passed. So a group of us from church, the boys, we all decided, we'll go Momoli him. You know, he's going to his Gokingonga and his interview. So we all jumped on a plane and went over and we witnessed it. But there was a big thing in the church, you know, like a couple of other boys that sat before. And what was going through my head was, what's the big deal, man? You know? Yeah. What is this? What's everyone talking about, you know? And the boys that went prior, that tried it before, you know, they weren't successful, you know, and then there was that whole stigma, you know, I was like, bro, that's nothing, man. So me, out of curiosity, what this whole deal was about Malua and that, because before that, you know, it wasn't even something that I even spoke about or talked about or even thought about. So, my parents got a shock one day. Our Whewhi Au, then, you know, Reverend Alo Slade, just not accidentally, he blurted it out during church. And then I was like, give it a go. And then, I went and saw Lucky and had a talk with him and said, hey, Lucky, I want to sit for Malua, man. And then that was a Sunday. And then went home after church and told my parents, hey, I'm going to go sit for Malua. And their faces lit up. I'm like, oh, because, you know, They know this kid that always drunk weekends, after rugby games, come home Sunday morning, So my parents were quite surprised. And then I I actually done the whole...
Probably surprised but happy at the same time.
Yeah. happy. I was like, because one of my aunties always said to me, when she found out, she said, man, what? I was like, what? If you don't get my lawyer, you're going to be in jail.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, gosh. So, done that. I was fortunate to, one of my other mates, one of the other boys from church wanted to sit with me. So we studied together, and then we also took classes with Alo Singer, Reverend Neli Alo Sione from EFKS. And there was a class of 10, there was 10 of us that sat from that, they were in the class. And again, I just done it, I was like, with the mentality that if I passed it, I can say, hey, I passed the exam. And everyone will be like, oh yeah, you passed, but not to go.
Yeah.
That was my whole, just pass the exam. Yep, sweet, I've done it, I can do it. And then, I was doing a part-time job at State Insurance at that time, IAG, And then I got a phone call. Like I totally, after the exam, totally forgot about it. Went back to the whole the normal langa,
Yeah.
And then my auntie rang, and her son, my cousin, was in Malua at that time. So she rang me that day. She goes, crying, and I was like, auntie, you good? What's wrong? She goes, Malua. And I went, oh really? It was nothing, man. To me, it was just, okay, I've done it. Then have to go. And then, and at that time, Te Aratu were going through a whawhalenga. That was the week they were doing the whawhalenga. And then I walked into church that evening, and Lucky just stopped everything and started clapping. And me, again, wasn't even thinking about this. I was like, it's done. And they go, like, what's that, so the whole build-up to it, it's kind of long story short, the whole build-up to going to Malua for me was just, I never took it seriously. And like, just, on that, like I paid my return fare, because there's a kokingonga and an interview. So I said to my parents, I want to pay my lakuakwe. So because there were a lot of doubts too, within the church, a lot of people saw this guy as the ula vale, there were a lot of doubts. There are people that doubted me, and they said, like, okay. So I went again straight after kokingonga. One of my mates that live in Samoa, he scooped me up, took me to a nightclub, took me to the bar, we were drinking, and then my flight was that night. So I flew back, and then, my parents and all, they were trying to get hold of me in Samoa, but I was at a bar in town with one of the boys, and then dropped me off. I landed, walked casually out of the airport, and again, my parents were like, "Wale kokingonga." Oh yeah, it's done. And then, yes, hongi lo alu whiwhi Malua, and I'm like, no, I don't want to go. But I ended up going. I guess it was just for me. It was it was done. That was it. That's all I wanted to do. And then but I guess the turning point was with my mum, because a lot of the financing of your aonga is done by your family.
Yeah.
So mum actually left her job. She'd been there for like 25 years just to support my aonga. And then I guess that was it for me. To see my mum do that for me, it was like, okay, no, I'm gonna. So I went on the first day over there. I was like in La La Land. I was like, what have I gotten myself into?
Were you nervous? Like, guess
real nervous.
Yeah.
But I guess what really helped me was one of my best mate was there. But then I also came across other New Zealand-born and Australian-born guys over there. So it was pretty...
Common themes, yeah.
Yeah. So they put me in a house with... It was all the New Zealand-born and Australian-born, and there was only one guy from Savai'i, and then some of the guys from Opia. First week, it was tough, because Malua opens up with a thing called Iron Week. So Iron Week is...
Just the young boys.
Oh, man.
Just the newbies, yeah.
5 o'clock, wake up, of course, Govala Aunga.
Yeah.
So we started Wednesday, and then Thursday morning, 5 o'clock, bro, we had to be there. They call your name, hold out. And then straight to the bar, Povi, bro. And that first day, bro, I was close to just giving it in, because
Well, I'd explain what Papovi is. I guess some of our listeners.
But so Papovi, Malua has like 10 Papovis, which are like, bro, they just massive
Big metal paddocks, yeah.
But the thing that we had to, the work we had to do was they had this thing called mokufu that were higher than you. So you're walking underneath, and these plants that you had to pull out were like way higher than you. So we started at 5 and it was nice and cool. But once it hit 8 o'clock, bro, yeah. And the other thing about Malua is that you can't drink until the 4th year's, 3rd year, everyone drinks. So you just have to,
keep serving. Yeah,
yeah. So here, that first day, I came back and I was just reflecting, what am I doing, man? And then we had that morning session, and then we had an afternoon session. In the afternoon session, we were on the Malakilikiki, veling the Vauwhiwhi. Well, the 4th years are surrounding us, so all the first years are like on their hands and knees,
weeding away,
man. So I'm like, oh, bro, is this what I really want to do, man? First day, and then the second day, went back to the paddocks, done another couple of bars, vele the bar povi, and then that was Friday. Saturday, kind of got used to it.
Yeah.
And then, just enjoying the company of the boys, that, easy to talk. I expected my Lord to be, you have to speak Samoan, do everything in Samoan. Nah, it was just like uni over here. After my first week at my Lord, I did find that it was a culture shock.
Yeah.
Culture shock in that I was designated to a teacher. So I had to do all that whāongas, which was feed us pigs, vele the whais, and do the saka. And me, us coming from here, we used to just turn on the oven, do the saka. But that was my first experience trying to light a fire with coconuts. And
back to the roots, eh?
Back to the roots, I always knew when we light fires here, where's the newspaper, So the whāonga told me, first guy soccer. He went and played golf, came back, and I was like, sitting there, trying to find paper, man. Trying to find paper. But because he left, but he forgot something. So he came back, and I'm sitting there trying to, and then he came and goes, whaikaonga. So he taught me how to sali the popo, use the old lama and the popos, the bulls, all that. He taught me a lot, that whāonga. How to do the whiaus.
Yeah.
Even to do a umu by myself, man. And I think the buzzy thing was because this whiaunga, he was really good with the shotgun, eh? So every time something what I needed to be, they'll come to him. So he started teaching me how to use the shotgun. And then I remember the first time I ever handled it, I was like, and all I felt was like, like a falcon. Slap the back of the head, just. But, that's why it was a culture shock for me, man. It was just different. You being born and raised here, you get the luxuries of ovens. And
it's quite funny, though, because you talk about, like, you're a Samoan in your own country, and where you have connection to the country. You're saying it was a culture shock for yourself.
Yeah, it was a massive culture shock. But at the same time, it was also trying to find your identity. Just because when we come from New Zealanders to go over there, we get over there, they go, the Kiwis are here. Even in Malua, we were known as the Kiwis. The Aussie boys, the Aussies. We weren't classed as Samoans. Yeah, when we come home, when we come here, it's like, the Samoans. So really, it's like, who am I? If I'm a Kiwi over there and I'm a Samoan here, it could really play off your head, eh?
Which is probably what a lot of us born outside of the motherland all face, because it's quite a hard thing, eh, when you're trying to connect or identify yourself. And I don't know, some probably think that if they haven't been pushed by their parents too much around the cultural side. Probably a lot of them think their first language will probably be Māori because it's taught in the schools.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, that I guess my hardest year was my first year. All the whiaus, getting used to the ngaluengas, getting used to. But once I got used to it, I was like, man, it was nothing, man. coming back home, before I even left, I couldn't even have that conversation with, the koi ingas, the ki aokongos, because I didn't know how to talk to them, you know.
Yeah.
But coming back after my first year, our boys are just, where are you hanging out with the old man for? Oh, I'm just talking, you know.
Yeah.
But that was something I was so happy with, being able to communicate with our older, the ki aokongos and the older people, and at the same time being able to communicate with our young, because that's where my heart is, working with the young people.
Good place to be where you can float in between the two,
yeah, absolutely. And, even coming back, and doing that, even now, being in the Ngaluenga, because, I didn't really think much about it, I just thought, hey, we can sua with the koi ingas and that and have a good laugh. But now being in the Ngaluenga, it's something that, I do wish I done it more.
Yeah.
Because, now it's communicating with your church. You have to try and cater for the oldies as well as the young. And I still feel that I've got a lot to learn in terms of communication, tangangana, anganuu. And I guess that's why, when there's weddings, there's funerals, before I never used to listen to that stuff. It wasn't until I came back, and I started following the stuff, as an awa'o. They don't look at you as they go, yeah, whamai paper, you sit back, there's kaule letters. But I felt that, that's my way of serving. So, when I got back, I started following the stuff. And, my dad was like, he was super proud. He was like, oh, yeah, that's my son. And even kongais, following kongais. Even when we went to, like, whaipoe pongas, Malius were the ones there, when you see the whalonongas, the ingas do, and then you don't hear anyone pissing from the back, it's like, bro, so that's something I, started doing. And then my brother, that's when my brother, came up, and then now he's the one that's, he's the one doing all that. But stepping into the role, as a whiwhiao full time,
You're in an influential role, because
I would say it's influential in that, at the end of, if I face it, where there's a whongo, you have that power, you have the last say. And I've heard it heaps of times, if I hear the starting to, makanshi I'll fight a lover, I'll jump in, and then I'll hear, someone say,
He did
le fight a lover, le ko le whiwhiao, ole ngā. So, not only trying to keep the peace, but if I know that there's something that needs to be said, because there are power people in the church, and sometimes that power is used in the wrong way. But if I know that it's starting to go down that way, then I'll actually step in and try and, just that influence, try and also fight a lover, just to bring it down. Because, the power people, and then you have those who don't really talk that much, but you know what they're wanting, and you can feel it when they say stuff, but they don't have the words. And so I guess that's where, in the church, I have that influence in the church. But I guess bringing that to the community and to the work that I do now.
Do you encourage, like as you were saying before, how the youth, how you still mix and mingling with the elders, and that, do you encourage the youth to sort of start tapping in and sort of asking questions? Because that that's probably all our elders are waiting for, that they're waiting for you to ask some questions.
And so I encourage our boys, because one thing about and I'm blessed with my oloku is nearly all the boys, the kaule leas, they've all got the la e. And one thing, when we all sitting down, because that's what my dad said to me when I asked for it. So that's what I'm pushing to them. And a lot of them are going, as long as we're doing the thousands, and no. See those men over there? That's where that's where you get the wisdom from, and talk to them. And I've seen it now, when we have popokongas, gatherings at church, the boys are mixing with all the koias. Like they could be like smoking and doing whatever out front, but most of them are just sitting down, listening. And we say, give me a whongo. You know, just picking up a lot of the stuff and they're using it too, which is really cool. You know, and quite blessed. My bro's back now, and he's really into that. So the boys are all starting to follow and fall into line. But at the same time, it's cool because the men want to share. Yeah,
you have got I know you got a very talented family. So I guess it's going to your brother, and I see your sons put out. I think they did a clip with De La Salle, which is awesome too. Yourself, you're involved as well with an academy. I was actually sorry, bro. I've forgotten the group that you're involved with. Performance. So
you know, we have been blessed. You know, and that was something else. You know, because I graduated Malua back in 2006, so I've had a long time, and for really I've learned more during this time that I've come back from Malua than what I had learned prior to going to Malua. Especially with, you know, something that I'm really passionate about is, you know, the arts. In our family, my brother, music. My sis, she's in Japan. She's into she's like floats between music and thing, but I'm more towards the stage, you know, storytelling. Yeah. You know, and now, you know, with our youth and that's something I've done with our with Te Aratu youth is White Sunday. You know, this is where I'll be like, I'll do the kala, you know, let me do it. And then with the bro there, also, I need this, I need that. You know, one thing with me and him, I just give him my ideas. He'll come back, oh yeah, this one. Oh yeah, this one. Or, you know, he'll chuck it in and we'll work together. But that's something that I really use in the ministry is being able to tell stories from life experiences, but at the same time, using your life experience and comparing it to, you know, the biblical stories. You know, we could take a story from the Bible and, you know, contextualize it to our days, something that will sit right with our kids, but also for our parents to, you know, to understand. Yeah. You know, most of our kids think that our parents don't understand their way of thinking, their way of storytelling, but you know, our kids' storytelling ain't nothing compared to our parents' storytelling, eh? And I think that part of me is goes back to my old man. My old man's he used to jam the guitar. He used to sui the key of the guitar, different tunes, and then ingy and I'll be just sitting there going, oh yeah, trying to pick it up, and then I done the whole music thing, but I guess I was sidetracked with rugby league. I went and played league. They sent me to piano lessons thinking I was at piano lessons. and then the piano teacher, you know, there was a whole, you know, mate, you come do the recital thing. Yeah, they went and I was, well, where is this guy? League training. I was playing league. I
remember my dad tried to teach me the piano. He gave up. He had the first session.
Well, my dad said, he gave me an ultimatum, and he goes, whai o lo mga inga. You know, alu e whai. But he made sure he came to the first game he came to watch, and I remember we played Peptoi Panthers that day. And I was trying to prove, you know, and, you know, we coming from Te Aratu Roosters, playing against a Southside team, man. You're playing guys like way bigger than you, eh? So I remember that first game he came, I didn't even care, eh? I was just running straight at the guys getting smashed. Ran, and then I scored a try and I looked back like this and he was like... But then, you know, after that he just said, because they gave me player of the day, he goes, son, so that's where I went. I went down that path of playing league and then got to school playing rugby. And then I think he just, what really topped it off for him was like making the harbour team that year, you know, my first year of high school. And then, that was me. Yeah. But then my bro came in and then, that's his, you know, that's what he's been blessed with, the gifts, you know, with music. My sister, she's a story, she loves reading and all that. So, and then like seeing my kids doing it now, it's like, I'm just so, I'm speechless when, like, even when La Salle released their song, because the boy was, he sent me their first draft, because Dad, have a listen. So, yeah, it's all good. You know, one thing I've learned is don't try and blow his head up. Yeah, it's all good. And he goes, nah, is there anything missing? I said, have you talked to your uncle? Yeah. I said, well, yeah, you'll get more from him. He goes, nah, I want your feedback. I said, I think there's something missing in there, son. And he goes, oh, no, that's all good, Stan. And then he hung up. But when I saw the video, I actually, it brought me to tears.
Bro, it was me, bro. It was solid.
Because, we all go through, a down, a low in life. And, I know that I've been there. And hearing my son sing and the words that came from him, I was like, he's talking about, that's me.
Yeah.
He's talking about me. And just them being able to do that and, support their generation, and help their generation, because we can only do so much, but.
Do you think it's a good way to encourage our youth, I guess, in terms of like to be able to express themselves like that? So whether it be in dance, whether it be in music as well.
Oh, absolutely. And this is something I always say when we have our Youthline meetings is that you put a young person today in front of you, you put them in front of an interview, man, they'll find it so hard to do an interview, face-to-face interview. Even, mentoring a young person, you put them in front of you, you go, so tell me about yourself. They'll just look at you.
Where to start.
Yeah. But you give them a guitar and you just, hey, jam this. And then just sit back and you listen to them play. You'll hear their story. You'll hear, and that, I think that's like a conversation starter for our young people too. It's the arts, especially our Pacific, because that's something that it's in our genes, man. The arts being either music, through stories, spoken word. It's just something we do naturally. So, it's something that, I think a lot of our young people haven't tapped into.
Yeah.
But they have it. And I think they just need the opportunity. They need that opportunity to explore and be able to tell the stories. Because, I've seen some of the boys, one of the boys heads in his dance crew. And you see how many of our young people are there just expressing themselves, because it's like therapy, through dance. So, totally agree that.
Yeah, I guess when you put it too, it's like it's kind of an outlet too as well when you're looking at it. I guess for mental wellness as well.
Yeah.
In terms of like if we're looking at people in the youth in your church, like I remember our upbringing, bro, was in terms of the White Sundays. You were given like a page long. You learn all of that.
Yeah.
And then if you get it wrong, you knew what was coming. But at the end of it, you're thinking, it's like I still spiritually it wasn't fair. I still got nothing out of this. May have learned how to. By force, learned how to act a bit, but then do you see the difference in, like, if you look at your youth, by the sounds of you've empowered your youth to be able to come up with the stories, come up and create it themselves? Do you see the difference where it seems they take on the messages a lot better?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You, without, like today's generation, you force something onto them, it won't stick. You force anything onto our young people, whether you try and tell them, hey, now you listen to me. You use force with them. The message is just in one ear, out the other. But you give them the opportunity to preach or to say what's in their minds, what issues they're going through, and tell it through their way. That's something that they will be talking about for. Did you see our performance? Oh, yeah. It's something it's something that really uplifts and it does heal a lot of them to be able to share and express themselves in that way. But I totally agree with you. The White Sundays back in the days was just something else. Fail a little bit,
next level hidings.
You just jump in the car. Yeah.
Oh, I guess with your bit of your work with mental health, I know just through Vaka as well, you done some work there. Like, do you think it's like a topic that's often talked about, like widely amongst not just Samoa, but I guess across the PI, they open about, or if I was the targeted group, like around young men and boys, like, do you think it's a topic we talk too much?
I don't think it's talked about enough. You know, there's the opportunity to have it and talk about it, but yeah, it's not something that, I guess it's just the culture. I guess it's the culture that really puts up that wall between us being able to speak out and us being able to really identify those who are going through, because we all know, once you start talking about mental health, or, they're like, wow, man, what's that? Talk about it. And for Samoans, it's like a mock. When someone is, on the road and they we can see they have mental health. They say, oh, vai la vale, that kind of languaging. And I guess that's something that when we're in Vaka and Paul and I were trying to work this whole, I guess it really opened up my thinking of it, because that's something that I used to do. Yes, we used to mock people thinking, they had a disability or had a mental health issue. And it was just the upbringing. You see the uncles when we're all together and one of the cousins has a disability. Kama whai pe, that. So the languaging in that, it's something that it's hard to change because it's embedded in our culture. But that's where the conversations and that need to start. It started, like even now, I remember I was talking to someone from church, one of the ladies, and we were talking about mental health, and, the awareness is there. But for them, it's how to talk about it without crossing that bar. How to really reach out without, sullying the bar between, So I think we're almost there. We're almost there, and it's just something that, and I believe the church has the power to, break that wall down. But then again, it's totally up to the whewhiao and how he approaches it, because again, that vase, that sacred space is still massive, and so just finding the right things to say and do,
Yeah, I guess like along with a lot of things like around the sex education, is something that's never talked about as well. That's but I mean, like you say, they're slowly chipping away at it, and I guess it's ministers like yourselves. You've sort of had work experience before you actually went into the college, the ministry colleges, and then you come back and you're actually still working too. So working alone with the youth as well as working with your church. So massive job there, brother.
Yeah. So, honestly, sometimes I think, man, again, what am I doing, man? What am I doing? But I know that God has put a purpose in my life. Sometimes me and my wife sit there and talk about it. It's when we're in that, that hardship of the ngaluenga, being tested, especially because, we're still young in the ngaluenga. Like, I'm the youngest in our pulenga. All the rest are, probably, it's just me and another dude that are like, he's under 50, and then all the rest are in their 60s. So, we do come across a lot of not temptations, but just tests. That test our spiritual, and I guess that's one thing that I always look back and I was saying that through my journey, God's always been there.
Never left you, brother.
Never left there. He's always just been get back on track. This is your purpose, but have taken those roads, but it all comes back. So,
No, I get it, yeah. Well, I guess winding up, no one's perfect, Riff. Like I say, if the devil's going to take down someone, he's going to take the top of the church, person at the top. So obviously you're at the top of it. Yeah. But man, good resilience, and I love it how I'm listening to you. You're able to still, have your communication, your talks with your wife, because, your job's a lonely job. At the top there. And I guess it's like another way of trying to find support. Also listening to your journey, coming from, someone who wasn't quite sure. You went there, tested it, and then you've come out. And there you go, Ray. Quite an accomplished person there. And you've done the road to leadership by the sounds of it.
Oh, bro. It's like, honestly, I'm one that I hated public speaking, and you know, some of the boys, they always ask, why are you even going there, man? You hate speaking. So I believe that whole time that I've been out since 2006 till now, till being in the ministry, I think God has just prepared me to be able to stand up, speak, you know, and just put me in the pathway of people that can inspire me.
Yeah.
And one thing I did learn when something I learned coming, you know, out of my lua and doing the stuff that I've done with the performing arts and, you know, different jobs is, one of the boys said to me, if you're the most influential person in your circle, you need to get out, go and find you a new circle. So that's what I try and do now. You know, my church, yep, cool. Yeah, there's people that influence me. Yeah, they influence me a lot in there. But I do feel that a lot of it, they think that I'm meant to be the one doing it for them.
Yeah.
Hence why I try and break away and just go and be in another circle that can keep me and keep the brain just ticking over and, you know, learning new skills. Yeah, so.
Oh, bro. That was a nice casual chat, bro. Like, covering up through Malua, coming out to the arts, and then even touching on to a bit of the mental health, bro. But wish you all the best. You know, no doubt we're always going to be catching up. So really love your work too with the youth, and I see some of the productions that you and Lani also put together. So which is cool, and also love seeing the young boy coming through as well. So obviously talent to look out for as well musically.
You just have to.
Unleash it, brother. Unleash it. Oh no, well, thanks for coming, Rev. You know, once again, it's always good to hear your views from a New Zealand-born minister. You know, and even now to see you're floating in between the two worlds of, you know, our environment that we're in, and also with our elders and that with Samoan congregations. So much love to you, brother.
This one's for you and you and you. And you and you and you. This one's for you and you and you.
Da 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 da.